Back here at Legion Field with game 2 underway here. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Kyle Daniels as he leads off here for the Mustangs. Pitches. Ball 3. Hard hit ball, foul. Down the right field line. Hard hit ball, and that is going to be a base hit. To first base, so 1 on, and that will bring up Trevor Shirtliff. Shirtliff stands in there, and that is going to be high, ball 1. So Kyle Daniels led it off with a single. Hard hit ball to second base, and that is going to be out at second base on the force, but that will put Shirtliff at first, so 1 out. On the out by Daniels, or by Shirtliff. So that'll bring McBride up to the plate here in the top of the first. With Shirtliff at first. Pitches over the head of McBride, so that will be ball 1. Stands back in there. And a steal attempt, and that is going to be in there and past the second baseman, so Shirtliff to second on the stolen base. So 1 ball, 1 strike. To McBride. With Shirtliff out at second base, and that pitch is going to be inside, but called for a strike. Low and outside. Ball 2. That gets past the catcher for a wild pitch, and that will put Shirtliff at third. McBride stands in there, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Next pitch is high for ball 4. So on with the walk is McBride. That will bring up Nate Cage with 2 on. Shirtliff at third with McBride at first. One out as Cage stands in there. Big lead hit to the third baseman. force out at second and force at first also. So Nate Cage hits into the double play. So after the first half inning, Fort Lupton comes to bat on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Legion Field as the Mustangs take the field. Jason Wiggis, the pitcher for the Mustangs. With Kenny Keller behind the plate. So Daniels is in center, Shirtliff is at short, McBride is in right, Cage is at third, Fritzler is DHing for Jason Wiggis, Keller is catching, Marquez at first, Garver at second, and Arroyo is in left field for the Mustangs here to start off this second game. First pitch by Wiggis is in there for the strike. Has such an easy delivery. Looks in for the sign.
Nice throw, Charlie.
That pitch is down and away for ball one. That ball is into short center field, and that will fall for a base hit for Sanchez. So that will bring up John Cook. Cook stands in there with a runner on first. Throw over to first. And Sanchez back in safely under the tag. So Vegas, the pitch to third, to second for one. But safe at first. Is Cook. So standing in there now is Andy Segovia with one runner on, one out. Easy curveball, nice looking pitch there by Wiggins for the strike. Pitch over to first, but sliding back in safely is Cook. Fouled back to the screen. 2 strikes, no balls here on Segovia. Fort Morgan did not score in the top of this inning. Pitches inside and low. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Segovia. Wiggins looks over to first, then the pitch. Popped straight up. We'll see who takes it. Shortstop seems to be under it, and I believe they got the double play on the force. The runner had taken off and tried to get back in time, but Shirtliff with the catch on the pop and then threw him out at first base. So after one, nothing here on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Legion Field, Jacob Fritzler is up first for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. That first pitch is low and outside for ball one. Next pitch is swung on and missed. Pitch down in the dirt. So 1 ball and 1 strike. To Fritzler. Next pitch is low and outside and skips by the catcher back to the backstop. The wind and the pitch, and that is upstairs for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike on Jacob Fritzler. Next pitch is inside for ball 4, so Fritzler on with the walk. So that brings up Kenny Keller. Kenny Keller is catching here in this second game, and Fritzler has taken off to second, and he will be in there on the steal. So a strike to Keller. No balls and 1 strike. Now out at second base is Fritzler. Squaring to bunt is Keller, but that's going to be outside for ball 1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. On Kenny Keller. Reached out for the bunt. That will be strike 2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Keller here in the top of the second. That's hard to get that straight as they are the visiting team here in this second game. Top of the second, 1 ball, 2 strikes with a runner on at second base. That is Jacob Fritzler. Fritzler not much of a lead, now starts to walk away a little bit from the bag. Keller and popped it straight up, way out there, coming down, and it's going to be dropped by the catcher. So that'll be an error on the catcher. That will get Keller to first. Fritzler will hold. So that brings up Adrian Marquez. Gets his signals from coach here. We're going to have a courtesy runner here now as Breidenbach goes in to run at first for Keller. So Adrian Marquez up. Fritzler out at second, and now Breidenbach at first. Looks back at the second baseman, now brings it in. It's going to be up high for a ball to Marquez. Marquez in there, 1 ball and no strikes. Next pitch is going to be a bunt back to the pitcher, and they're going to get the lead runner. So Fritzler will be out number 1, but that will move, that'll be Breidenbach that will be out at second. Fritzler Marquez is on at first. First pitch is low and outside to Garver for ball 1. Next pitch is hit down to the third baseman. Steps on the bag for one. Long throw over, and he is going to be out for the double play. So at the end of two, still no scores. For Lupton comes up to bat here in the bottom of the second here on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Legion Field in the bottom of two. Fort Lupton comes up to bat.
Oh, sorry about that, Brian. I'm John Beltran now. Brian Nickel after I let Brian to hang here. I had a 10-inning game in Brush. Mustangs won the first game here.
21-2.
Yeah, in 5 innings. Or 4.5, but now they got to go 5 innings because they're the designated visiting team for this game. Brush ran into the same issue on Thursday against Strasburg. They played a home and home both in Brush.
So Adami up here first in the bottom of the second for Fort Lupton. Jason Wiggis again on the mound for the Mustangs. That first pitch is going to be low and outside. For ball one. Next pitch is going to catch that outside corner. Strike one on Adami. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jason Wiggis with the sign and the pitch. That is a slow curve. That ball is popped up. We'll see if it stays in play long enough to get it. And could not be caught. That would have been a tough play by Keller anyway. But just a foul strike. He slid almost into the fence. So 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Is it me, Brian, or is it a bigger crowd than we had on Wednesday?
Just a little bit bigger. I think the weather is just a little bit nicer.
Yeah, that's usually the case in baseball.
So Wiggis with his next pitch, and that is a slow curve, but hit into center field, and that will be Adami with a single. So the first batter up gets on with a single. Now Suarez up next for the Blue Devils. Suarez is at shortstop today, or in the second game anyway. So Wiggis from the stretch now. Pitch is way inside. So ball one. Suarez had to back up a little bit. Throw over to first. But diving back is Adami. Wiggis looks back over to first. Now the pitch. That is hit down, fly ball to right field. That's going to be well over the head of McBride. Goes all the way to the fence. Gets it back in to the second baseman. But that will be a double for Suarez. And that will move Adami to third. So that brings up John Howard. John Howard catching here in this second game. Wiggis with the pitch, and that's right back up the middle, and that will plate one as Adami comes in for the run. So Howard with the single and the RBI.
Yeah, that first game means nothing at this point. I mean, you gotta get it done here in game 2 just because you won by 19 runs in the opening game.
So up to bat now is Riley Reed. Reed is a second baseman. That pitch is in there for a strike. So no balls and 1 strike to Riley Reed. 5'7", 220-pound junior. Wiggis looks in for the sign, checks back to the runner at first, now into the pitch, and that is going to be low and outside for ball one. Yeah, the weather is just a little bit nicer. People aren't having to cover up and they're not having to stand at an angle to stay up straight.
Yeah, as bad as it was Wednesday, it was worse Thursday. I can promise you that. Of course, I wasn't protected like we are here in the press box.
So a swing and a miss on that pitch, and the runner takes second base. So 2 strikes, 1 ball, and 2 strikes. That will send Howard on the stolen base. Hard hit ball, and going to be a double play over at third.
Yeah, that was a line shot to Nate Cage, and with a runner just a few feet off, Brian. It really wasn't a base running mistake. You got to be off the base. You got to take some sort of lead. Cage caught it and just stepped to his right, and it's a bad luck double play if you're Fort Lupton.
So the first out was Reed, second out was Suarez. So this brings Vasquez up to the plate, and that ball is popped up into short left field. That may fall. It's going to be caught by the left fielder, and that will be Anthony Arroyo for the third out. So at the end of 2, Fort Lupton 1, Fort Morgan nothing here on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Legion Field as we go into the top of 3. We'll let John take over here for a couple of innings.
Yeah, Fort Lupton leads 1-0. How about that, Brian, after that 21-2 Fort Morgan victory in Game 1. But I think this is good for Fort Morgan. They need to get challenged here.
Yep.
You know, you don't want to go the whole time in league play, even though Fort Lupton has yet to win a game. But at least get some sort of challenge. As Arroyo will step in for the Mustangs against the right-hander Andrew Adame. And he was the pitcher last year. And that changeup is low and away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So scored along with you here.
That's
1-0 to Arroyo here in the third. That pitch is away as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 1-0 Fort Lupton. The Mustangs are the designated visiting team. And that is upstairs. 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, the final game that Fort Morgan played last year was Senior Day on their home field, and that pitch is taken for a strike. Adame was the starting pitcher, and Fort Morgan won a rain-shortened game 5-0. Austin Cosman homered in that game. It's a big day for the Cosman family there. 3-1. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string on the changeup. Count is at 3-2 to Anthony Arroyo, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. And the offering swung on and popped up extremely high into foul territory down the third base side. And the third baseman makes the catch for Fort Lupton. And that is Vasquez for the opening out. Here in inning number 3. Tell you what.
18, okay. Sorry.
1 down for Kyle Daniels. Daniels with his second plate appearance of the game. Wind and pitch. Swung on and grounded to second. Should be a routine play. Takes a huge hop on the second baseman. Recovers, throws to first, and Daniels is safe. Daniels is safe on the ball hit to Reed. Boy, I might have to score that a base hit. That took a vicious hop.
That was a bad hop.
And anytime he takes that hop, I'll give him a base hit there. So Daniels on first, 1-0. Fort Lupton leads here in the top of the third inning. And here's Trevor Shurtleff. Shurtleff was stranded on the base paths the first time up. Mustangs looking to beat Fort Lupton for the second time today. But they'll have to rally to do it. Pitched by Adame. Swung on and lifted into center field. Should be a routine play there for Sanchez. He ranges under it, makes the catch. There's 2 down. I mean, this is the thing with baseball. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 0 and whatever. If you get a guy throwing strikes and they're making plays behind you, all of a sudden you could be neutralized as a lineup, and the Mustangs are finding that out right now. as they have yet to score, and they struggled against this pitcher last year. Throw back the first, nothing doing. With Trey McBride stepping in. Here's the stretch by Adame, and the pitch up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. AC Ice proudly supports local high school sports throughout Northeast Colorado. When you need ice, don't just settle for any old frozen water. Get AC Ice. The Mustangs, by virtue of that victory in the first game, have won 43 in a row in Colorado's 7 league play. Runner goes. Pitches down and away, an easy stolen base standing up there for Daniels. 2 balls and no strikes. Springs back. Kind of miss doing it by paper, holding something in my hand. The only time I don't miss it is when it's freezing. And you get the gloves on and do something different. And the pitch swung on and grounded foul down the third base side. The board says 3-1. I've got 2-1 here. On deck for Fort Morgan is Nate Cage, who hit into a double play to end the first inning. And that one got McBride. That previous pitch when he fouled it off, he hit it off the fist. And the offering. Swing and a miss on a changeup up in the zone. You see that pitch is like a big fat watermelon. And you go fishing for it like you want to eat it now, but it's not in the zone. It's not on the plate, so to speak. 2-2. We got 2 outs in the inning. Runner goes to third. Swung on and grounded foul down the third base side. It remains at 2-2 to Trey McBride. Yeah, and if you can hear by the sound of the bat when he swings, he's not hitting it on the fat part of the bat. It's fisting him quite a bit. That's why he keeps shaking his hand as soon as he gets ready for his next swing.
Better today than when it's about 35 degrees.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't even hurt that much. Another 2-2 count to McBride. The stretch by Adame and the pitch. And that is up and away. It's a full count to McBride, who is playing right field here in game number 2. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel, and a balk has been committed by Adame. And that'll send Daniels to third. And a lot of times, we're going to have a conversation here between the head coach and the umpire wondering what happened there. A lot of times when you have a doubleheader, one game is really good and one game is not so good. And we already had the game that was not so good in terms of the lack of competition in game 1, which the Mustangs won by 19 runs. This comes off a 10-0 victory yesterday against Englewood, 23-0 on Wednesday against Englewood, and Englewood did not generate a hit in either game. 3 balls and 2 strikes on McBride. The stretch and pitch, and he swings and belts that ball into left field, and a diving attempt over there by the left fielder Cook. He can't get to it. McBride's around first. He's headed for second. Cook picks up the ball. McBride has an RBI double as Daniel scores, and the Beat Diggers. Check that, the Mustangs. I just did a Beat Digger game. The Mustangs have tied the game at 1. I knew I was going to use that incorrectly. So McBride with the RBI for Fort Morgan. On the double, and we're deadlocked at 1, and here's Nate Cage. Once again, Fort Morgan is a designated visiting team here in game 2. So it's tied at 1. The pitch up and in on the off-speed to Cage, who hit into a double play. His first time up. 1 ball and no strikes. Adame working quickly. Stretch and offering. Up and in again. 2 balls and no strikes. Adame looks back, and the 2-0. And the changeup, a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. To Nate Cage, the stretch and the offering. swung on and popped up extremely high on the right side. Coming in are the first and second baseman. It's caught by the first baseman, Segovia, on his knees. And that does it for the Mustangs here in the top of the third. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. Let's head to the bottom of the third. It's Fort Morgan 1, Fort Lupton 1 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back with Brian Nichols. We head to the bottom of the third inning in Fort Morgan. The Mustangs and Fort Lupton Blue Devils deadlocked at 1. Yeah, Brush defeated Yuma earlier today on 10-10 and KSIR.com, 5-4 in 10 innings. Jason Wiggis delivers, and that's there for a strike, a fastball to Escuela. The number 9 hitter in the lineup. He's the right fielder. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Jason Reddy, and the tall right-hander comes home. Curveball is outside. Even though he's a big guy, he's like Shirtliff. He works quickly. So he gets the ball, he's right back on the mound. Some of these guys at the higher levels takes them 15 to 20 seconds to throw a pitch. And the offering. Swing and a miss, and a fastball down and away. The strikeout for Jason Wiggins, 1 down. Not sure, Brian, if you had him for any strikeouts in the first couple. I know there was a double play in there. I think the double play ended the first inning. That might be his first strikeout.
I think it is.
Here is Sanchez batting for the second time. And the offering. And the curveball is a beauty. Drops in for a strike. Yeah, when you don't throw hard like Jason doesn't, if you locate, that's all you need. Just location. You don't have to fire it in there. You don't have to be throwing 85 miles an hour. 0-1. That is right over the plate for a strike. Went with a fastball in the outer half of the knees. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Segovia's 0 for 1 in the game. Sanchez is the pitch. Breaking ball down and away. He's going with the same pitch pattern to Sanchez as he did to Escuela. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the third. No score in Fort Morgan in game 2. 1-1 that is. Swung on and fouled off to the right. It's essentially no score because both teams have a run. Fort Lupton scored their run in the second. The Mustangs got an RBI double from Trey McBride and tallied a run earlier in this frame. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch from Wiggis. Breaking ball is down and away. Tried to get Sanchez fishing, but he left a pole at home. 2-2. Nice day for fishing, too.
It would be a nice day for fishing.
I haven't been fishing in 25 years, and I really didn't fish that day. I just drank beer. Swing and a miss, and a ball in the dirt. Keller's going to have to pick the ball up and throw to first in time, and that's the official strikeout to get Sanchez. That goes 2-3 to complete the strikeout. There's 2 down, and both strikeouts to start the inning. That'll bring up John Cook. Cook reached base his first time up. And if you read your notes, you might be able to catch up on the game. I'll leave it at that there. Not easy. The pitch count is the only thing it might sacrifice. I'm not sure. Wind and pitch. Swung on and fisted in the air. The first baseman is going to make the catch as Marquez puts it away. And that does it. Make that, or is that Cage over there? That's Cage this time over at first. Nope, that is Marquez. Check that. Okay, it's a 1-2-3 inning. 1-2-3 for Fort Lupton in the bottom of the third. Let's go to the fourth. Fort Morgan 1, Fort Lupton 1 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Let's head to the fourth inning. The Mustangs and Fort Lupton Blue Devils are tied at 1. Segovia will now be the hitter. Here in the fourth. Oh, check that. I'm looking at the Fort Lupton side. Fort Morgan is the visiting team. So here's Fritzler, the pitch. Swung on and laced on one hop for a base hit. Into left field. Jacob Fritzler delivers. And he leads off the fourth with a base knock. That'll bring up Kenny Keller. As the Mustangs try to break out on top. They had no trouble with that in the first game. They led from start to finish and winning that one 21-2. But game 2, a different story as Fort Lupton scored the first run. The Mustangs countered 1 inning ago. And now Andrew Adame out of the stretch. And the pitch runner goes to second. That's taken for a strike on the changeup. No throw. Good take there by Keller, allowing Fritzler to steal the bag. Keller reached on an error his first time up. So he's 0 for 1, the stretch. And the pitch to the Mustang catcher. Change up, a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-2. The Mustangs picked up 2 hits in the third inning. Keller in a hole. And the offering. Swung on and grounded sharply on one hop to short. The throw to first is going to be in time. On an excellent play there by Suarez, made by Suarez, if I can say that once, and there's one down. Holding up at second was Fritzler. And here's Marquez. Marquez walked in his first plate appearance. Or no, he didn't. My bad. Oh, he reached on his first plate appearance. Off of second. And the pitch. Swung on and chopped to short. Suarez charges on the second hop. He lasers one to first for the out. And there's 2 down. Advancing to third is Fritzler, and the Mustangs have the go-ahead run 90 feet away for Grayson Garver, who's 0 for 1 in the game. Now Fort Morgan up there swinging. But they're getting a challenge here in game 2. The stretch and the offering. Swung on, laced, and caught on a liner by the third baseman Vasquez. And that's it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. 3.5 complete in Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan 1, Fort Lupton 1 on B106 and B106.com.
Bottom of 4.
Yep, bottom of 4 right here as the Mustangs and Fort Lupton Blue Devils tied at 1. Very competitive game. Jason Wiggins delivers, and the changeup in there for a strike. To Andrew Segovia. Hitting from the left side, the pitch. Swung on, laced foul off to the left. Followed by Andrew Adame and John Howard, who drove in the first run of the game. On a base hit in the second. Actually, Freddie Suarez will be the third hitter, then Howard. 0-2. Swung on in line for a base hit into left center field. And that was a mistake pitch by Wig as he hung a curveball on an 0-2, and Segovia got all of it. That's the thing. You don't throw hard, as I mentioned earlier. You got to locate the pitch, and Jason certainly did not want the pitch to be in the hitting zone. Now the Mustangs playing at double play depth. Adame scored the first run. Throw back to first, back and diving is Segovia. And quite frankly, all the pressure's on Fort Morgan. They're the team that's won 43 straight in conference play. Fastball outside. They're the team that's heavily favored, if you want to use that terminology at this level, which I am. The stretch. Pitch. Way outside. Mustangs at 5-0 in league play. 2 victories over Englewood and Alameda, 1 over Fort Lupton earlier today. They're 6-2 overall. The stretch and offering. Curveball is high. 3-0. Looked like a strike from here, but it was called a ball. 3 balls and no strikes to Andrew Adame. The stretch by Wiggis. Short lead at first, a pitch. Down and away. Adame was waiting for the umpire to call a strike on some of those pitches, as he just stood there on the 3-0. And instead, first and second now for Freddie Suarez. And Suarez doubled his first time up. You can't hang one to this kid. Fort Morgan in desperate need of a double play. The stretch. Long pause, the pitch. Swing, and I'm missing a slow curve. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike, 2 on. Nobody out. 1-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Off of second, Segovia. Adame at first. And the pitch. And the breaking ball drops in, but must have been high. I don't know where that missed. Kenny Keller was looking back, wondering that was a ball, because that looked perfect from here. 1 ball and 1 strike to Suarez. Keller lays down the sign. Wiggis at the chest. The pitch. Swag and a miss to the fastball right by Suarez. It's 1-2. And that time the big man reared back. He didn't let loose, or didn't hold back, I should say, on that one. Suarez with a close stance. The offering. Curveball is grounded left side. The third baseman, Cage, has it. He'll step on the bag for the out as he bobbled the ball briefly. Not happy with himself. He figured could have been an easy play, but at least he got the fielder's choice and the lead runner. That'll go 5 unassisted. Advancing to second is Adame, and there's 1 down here for John Howard, who had the RBI single his first time up. Wiggis looks back, and the pitch swung on and lined down the left field line, and that's foul. Again, you got to keep it out of the upper part of the strike zone. I got way too much of the plate in the and above the waist level there. It was a good pitch to hit. No balls and 1 strike. And the pitch in the dirt with a curveball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fort Morgan 1, Fort Lupton 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. In game number 2 of the doubleheader, the Mustangs won game 1 21-2. Runners take their leads. Keller lays down the sign. And Wiggis goes to first, and no, safe! Oh, back in there was Suarez. The throw had him beat, but I don't think the tag beat him. And called safe. That was a heck of a move there by Wiggis, but safe on the back end was Suarez. I wonder if it caught the umpire by surprise, because it certainly caught the runner by surprise. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, 2 on. The offering. Low. Threw him another breaking ball, 2-1. And you cannot elevate, even though Howard's not a big kid. Seems he likes that pitch up in the zone. The offering, and he bounced it in, and Keller flags it down right behind him. It's 3-1. And Riley Reed is on deck. Yeah, Fort Lupton's got to be thinking at this point. They got a shot in this game. With runners at first and second. And 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. In a 1-1 game. Well, got to throw a strike here. If not, the bases will be loaded. The pitch in the dirt. And it's a walk on a changeup to Howard, and the bases are loaded. And that'll send up Riley Reed. Reed is 0 for 1. And this is a big kid. He gets a hold of 1. He could give Fort Lupton the lead. Wiggis out of the windup. The pitch swung on and fouled back. Good first pitch strike on a ball tailing away. No balls and 1 strike. Wiggis wanting to work quickly here. 1 in the 0-1. Curveball is grounded slowly. That's going to score a run. The shortstop Shirtliff flips to second for 1, and no throw to first. Oh, that's too bad, because Reed could not get down that line, but Garver couldn't get the ball out of his glove. The fielder's choice will score. Andrew Adame and Fort Lupton leads 2-1. As Howard is eliminated at second base, and Suarez advances to third. Here's Vasquez for the left side. Looking in his Wiggis, the pitch swung on and lifted foul, out of play off to the left. No balls and 1 strike. Fort Lupton has taken their second lead of the game after leading early by that 1-0 score. And the 0-1 offering. Swung on and fouled to the screen. Threw it right down the middle. But luckily it wasn't a mistake pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Fort Lupton has scored a run with only 1 hit in the inning. That came from the leadoff hitter, Segovia. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, 1 in. The offering outside. Essentially a waste pitch there thrown to Vasquez. It's 1-2. Wiggis gets the sign. The pitch. Swung on and laced on a hop. And Garver's got it on 1 hop. Nice stab to his left. He throws to first for the out. That ball had some sting to it, but Garver makes the play, and that does it. And the inning for Fort Lupton. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and 2 men left. 4 complete. It's Fort Lupton 2, Fort Morgan 1 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Let's head to the 5th. We're in Fort Morgan, but the Mustangs are the designated visiting team because it's a doubleheader between Fort Lupton and Fort Morgan, and that's the way that one works, the stretch. And the offering, swing and a miss, and a ball tailing away. Thrown by Adame. Anthony Arroyo's the hitter. He's 0 for 1. Popped to third, first time up. The offering, swing and a miss. Pulled the string, it's 0-2. The stretch with the bases empty. 0-2 pitch in the dirt. One ball and 2 strikes on the 9th place hitter for the Mustangs, Anthony Arroyo. Fort Lupton leads 2-1 in the top of the 5th inning. They've scored a run in the even innings, the 2nd and the 4th. And the pitch upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Arroyo, Daniels, and Shirtliff in the 5th for Fort Morgan. The offering, swing and a miss, and a ball tailing down and away. And Adame records a strikeout. Ron, you watch these pitchers, they're almost mirror images of each other in their deliveries. Very smooth, very easy, but they're big guys.
Yeah, they are big.
Yeah, I mean, you figure, man, these guys are going to throw it through the glove, and yet they throw it to the glove.
Throw it to it and just an easy delivery.
Stretched by Adame. Here's Kyle Daniels and the pitch. He swings and hits a line drive into center field and coming in and going back
over
and
the head.
Up and off the glove of the center fielder, Sanchez, and that ball's headed towards the fence, and Daniels into second. We'll call it a straight-up double because of the misjudgment, but certainly a mental error there by the center fielder, Sanchez, and the Mustangs have the tying run. At second base, that should have been caught on the fly without an issue, but Sanchez came in 2 steps and then retreated. So Daniels picks up his second hitter, Shirtliff. Shirtliff popped to center his last time up. And Trevor's got a big gap in right center field if he can go the other way. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow right field. And now coming in late and diving and playing it on the hop for Fort Lupton is going to be Escuela. Daniels to third, into second with a straight-up double is Shirtliff. And that was played poorly out there by Escuela. He misread that. If Escuela read that right off the bat, he would have made an easy catch, but it was hit off the end of the bat. Then he started coming in late. And there's Trey McBride, who doubled in Fort Morgan's only run. The pitch swung on and lifted into left field. That's going to score the run.
He lost it. He doesn't know where it's at.
Yep, and it's going to fall in the gap. Daniels will score. Shirtliff around third. The throw to the plate is going to be cut off. And now headed to third is McBride. It's going to be a double. Driving in 2 runs. McBride has 3 RBIs in the game. And Fort Morgan leads 3-2. Well, Brian, I'm sorry. This is just some awful defense. That's 3 consecutive doubles, but all 3 could have been outs. Adame is doing his job out there. But the Fort Lupton defense is not helping him whatsoever. And as a result, the Mustangs have broken out on top for the first time in the game. Pitch to Cage. In the dirt. Cage is 0 for 2. Yeah, defense is a big part of baseball, and when that's not working, nothing a pitcher can do. 1-0. Cage takes a fastball upstairs. Yeah, the best hit ball in this inning, undoubtedly, was by Daniels. He laced that ball into center field, and even that should have been caught. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and grounded left side. Reed has got it, looks to third, now throws to first. There's the out. McBride to the plate. He slides in safely. And the Mustangs lead 4-2 with 3 runs here in the top of the 5th inning. No RBI for Cage because the runner took off the throw. And Brian, you've been around these parts a long time. Trey McBride's got to be probably a top 10 athlete.
Oh, I would think so.
It might be Joel Dreesen, maybe at number 1. I'm not sure. There's so many others, but McBride has got to be way up there. And what a special talent he is. And that'll bring up Jacob Fritzler. The pitch in the dirt. Fritzler had a base hit his second time up. The Mustangs now hold a 2-run cushion here in the top of the 5th inning. 1-0 from Adame. Inside with a changeup. Count is sitting at 2 balls and no strikes. Out of the stretch with the bases empty. And the offering up and in. Yeah, you got to assume he's got to be a little bit frustrated. He gets any help defensively. On the McBride 2-run double, Cook could not see it in left field. 3-0 pitch. That's right there for a strike on the outside corner. And the count is at 3-1. Swung on and grounded on 1 hop. Easy play, and a long throw to first is right there as Fritzler's retired by Freddie Suarez. And that is it for Fort Morgan at the top of the 5th inning. But they scored 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors, and the bases were left empty. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. In Fort Morgan, in the second game of a twin bill, the Mustangs are looking for the sweep and lead the Blue Devils 4-2 on B106 and B106.com. Bottom of the 5th we go in Fort Morgan in the second game of a doubleheader. And the Mustangs lead 4-2 over the Fort Lupton Blue Devils. The pitch swung on and fisted foul and off to the right by Esquela, who struck out his first time up. There's the wind by Wiggis and the offering. Swung on and grounded right back to the pitcher, and Wiggis will toss to first, and there's 1 down. Yeah, it's an easy game when you throw strikes, but that's easier said than done, and Jason's done an excellent job. The only time he's really gotten in trouble is when he's elevating that pitch. One down, back to the leadoff. And Sanchez, 0 for 2, the offering. Fastball is up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Wiggis ready. And he kicks and fires. Curveball is in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Fort Lupton has yet to win this year, but they're playing one of their more competitive games. One of their losses was 10-0 to Englewood, where yesterday's Englewood starting pitcher Nate Andrews threw a 1-hitter. Swing and a miss. And with a fastball down the middle, it's 2-1. Fort Lupton led 1-0 and 2-1. Now they trail 4-2. And that's over but low. Ball 3, strike 1 on Sanchez with John Cook on deck. Wind and pitch. Swung on and lined foul and off to the right. 3-2 to Sanchez. Yeah, Fort Lupton makes those plays in the outfield. We're still looking at a 2-1 game,
Yep.
and then Fort Morgan is down to their final 6 outs. That was a big 3-run inning for them. And that is a called strike 3 right on the outer half at thigh level. And Jason Wiggis has now struck out 3 in the game. 2 down for John Cook, who reached base his first time up, then popped to first in the third. Wiggis kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. Threw it right by Cook. It's 0-1, and Wiggis now looking for a little extra in that right arm.
That was probably one of the hardest pitches I've seen him throw.
Yeah, oh yeah. He turned just a little bit more and reared back. 0-1 offering in the dirt. Took something off it. The count is leveled at 1-1. The base is empty with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Mustangs lead by a pair. The pitch swung on and fouled off the end of the bat to the screen. Ball 1, strike 2. Fort Morgan is back in action on Wednesday and Friday. Elizabeth here on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and then on the road against Elizabeth on Friday. Wind in the 1-2. Curveball is lifted towards the shortstop, Shirtliff. He calls for it, makes the catch. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Wiggis.
Nice inning, Jason.
5 complete in game 2. The Mustangs lead the Blue Devils 4-2 on B106 and B106.com. Let's head to the top of the 6th inning, where the Mustangs have a 4-2 lead over the Fort Lupton Blue Devils. It'll be Kenny Keller, Adrian Marquez, and Grayson Garver. Keller is 0 for 2, grounded out in his most recent at-bat against the right-hander Andrew Adame. Keller settles into the box. Mustangs 6 outs away from completing the sweep. Out of the stretch with the bases empty. Swung on and grounded to third, and right underneath the glove of the third baseman, that's Segovia. And that'll be an error. Hit hard, but should have been fielded. It was right there for the gloving, so to speak. And, yeah, I don't have my roster on me. 13 for Fort Morgan is the courtesy runner, and that'll be
Austin Breidenbach.
There you go.
He came in for, he did courtesy running in the first game for Trey McBride.
And here's Marquez, throw back to first. Back in diving. It's going to be Breidenbach. So Keller officially at 0 for 3, even though he reached base. Getting a courtesy runner because he's got speed, but he's catching, and that's a lot on the legs. Marquez is 0 for 1. He grounded us short his last at bat. And again, defense is really hurting Fort Lupton in this game. Runner goes, taken high. The throw to second is going to be late, in on one hop and off the runner into center field, and Breidenbach's going to go to third. It'll be a stolen base and an error on the catcher, Howard. That's already 2 errors in the inning. 1 ball and no strikes as Fort Morgan is looking to add to their 4-2 lead. But I'm telling you, this kid can pitch for Fort Lupton. He's got some good stuff. The offering. Strike on a ball tailing away. 1 ball and 1 strike by Adame. The stretch and the offering in the dirt. Blocked by Howard. Nice block by the catcher. 2 balls and 1 strike. Grayson Garver waits to hit next. Fort Morgan scored 3 runs in the previous inning. They overtook a 2-1 lead by Fort Lupton into a 4-2 lead for themselves. The pitch swung on and grounded foul down the third base side. And the count is at 2-2. Yeah, the question for Fort Lupton is where they're going to generate the offense. They did have some offense early in the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. And that is a called strike 3, the off-speed pitch on the inner half. And Marquez strikes out for the first out.
Go, Gray.
Yeah,
Come on, 7.
I think he was fooled by that location.
Good pitch inside.
Grayson Garber hit a bullet to third. That was caught. And that is outside. Howard tried to frame that pitch on a fastball. It's 1-0. The infield is playing back. They'll concede the run with the sophomore inside the batter's box for Fort Morgan. And the 1-0 offering. And he takes a fastball upstairs, 2-0.
Come on, 7. Come on, Gray.
2 balls and no strikes to Garber. Out of the stretch with a man at third. And the pitch. And he swings and pops it foul. Now to play off to the right. Giving chase over there is Segovia. Well, that might be Vasquez over there. 2-1.
Number 12.
Nope, that is Segovia. The pitch. In the dirt to the screen. The ball goes right in between the legs of Howard. And a run will score. As crossing home plate is Breidenbach on the wild pitch. And the Mustangs now lead by a score of 5-2. So Garber now up there with the bases empty. Three balls and 1 strike.
Come on, Gray.
The stretch. Pitch to Garber. Up and away, and he walks. That'll bring up Anthony Arroyo, who's popped out and struck out. Anthony, who yesterday had an RBI single, an RBI double, and an RBI triple. So for 2. Yeah, nearly hit for the cycle. Hard to hit for the cycle in high school baseball, Brian, because you only have 7 innings.
We'll have to give him the cycle over 2 games because he had the grand slam in that game on Wednesday.
That's right. Pitches up and away, runner going to second. Easy stolen base, standing up for Garber. Yep, he drove in 5 in that game, and he gave that a ride, too, on Wednesday. That was over the right center field fence. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch, swing, and a foul at the plate.
Caught the umpire, I believe.
Yeah, big time. No, it definitely caught him. 1-1 to Arroyo. We're in game 2 of the doubleheader. Fort Morgan won the first game 21-2. And credit for Lupton. They've played a competitive game too. The only issue is that their defensive play in the outfield in that 1 inning and 1 inning ago was not good. Yep. Misjudging the ball in center. The same thing happened in right, and then the left fielder over there, with the sun in your eye, John Cook, he just simply lost the ball.
Yep. I could see him out there waving his hand. He had no idea where it had gone.
Stretch and pitch. Swung on, lined into left field for a base hit. To third is Garber. They're going to hold him right there. Arroyo is now 1 for 3. And now Fort Morgan is threatening to break this open. And Kyle Daniels, with a single and a double in his last 2 at-bats, will now step in. Well, after a slow start,
they finally figured him out.
Yeah, they did. Runner goes to second, squaring to bunt, taken for a strike. Throw is going to be cut off by the shortstop in Suarez. No balls and 1 strike. Give Arroyo the stolen base. So Garber at third.
Yep, just balked him in.
And it's now 6-2. As Garber scores, Arroyo to third. Brian, this happens with teams who are struggling. They start giving runs away. And are they going to take the... Oh, okay. They're not going to take the ball from him. He's pitching too well. Yeah, his coach is just telling him, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. So Adami back on the hill. The stretch. Pitch to Daniels. And he takes a changeup down and away. One ball and one strike. Fort Morgan has played at 2 in the inning. And the pitch. And he swings and taps it foul right at the plate. Count to Daniels is 1-2. At third is Arroyo, the offering. Slow curve is lifted to center field. To his right is Sanchez. Going back, makes the catch. Tagging up in third is scoring is going to be Arroyo. It's a sac fly for Daniels. And the Mustangs lead 7-2 with 3 more runs in this frame. Trevor Shirtliff doubled in his last at bat. Well, now hit for Fort Morgan. You got to feel better now about the score because it was way too close for a while. And the pitch swung on and tapped foul. No balls and 1 strike to Shirtliff. The junior shortstop awaits the pitch, and he swings and chops it foul to the third base side.
Northeastern, live in your world, live in ours. For more information about Northeastern or classes available to you, go to www.njc.edu.
The stretch. And the 0-2 pitch. Up and away. You know, Northeastern's adding wrestling to its curriculum. And, that's going to be big out here.
Oh,
Huge.
yeah. I don't know how many wrestling programs there are around the state.
No, at that level. 1-2, swung on, line caught by the shortstop Suarez. And that's the way the inning ends for Fort Morgan. But they scored 3 times, and the Mustangs needed just 1 hit. But they take advantage of 2 errors, and the bases were left empty. We head to the bottom of the 6th after the break. It's Fort Morgan 7 and Fort Lupton 2 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. All right, the Mustangs are 6 outs away from completing the sweep. Their sweep of Fort Lupton on their home field, but they're the designated visiting team, so we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 7-2 lead.
3, 4, and 5 hitters: Andy Segovia, Andrew Adami, and Freddie Suarez.
Swung on and lifted into left center field. Daniels to his right with the 2-handed catch, and there's 1 down. An easy play for Kyle Daniels. How about Wiggis all of a sudden? He's retired 6 in a row.
Finally got into the groove. They were hitting him around there early on, but only gave up 2 runs so far.
The pitch. Swing and a miss on a sweeping breaking ball. Adami has scored both runs for Fort Lupton, was the leadoff man in the 2nd, and he scored after being walked in the 4th. The pitch drops in for a ball. One ball and 1 strike to Andrew Adami. The pitch swung on and chopped slowly to third. Cage to his left has got it. Slings it to first and wide of the target. You got him. Oh, he held the bag.
Said he got his toe back on.
Yep, Marquez, I guess. Yep, he didn't hold the bag. You're right. He went back to the bag and was able to get his toe on it. Adami. Runners, there's 2 down. Here's Freddie Suarez. He doubled and grounded out. 1 for 2. Wiggis ready. Wind and pitch. And the curveball is high. And Wiggis has retired 7 in a row. The offering. Over but low. Had a perfect 1-2-3 in the fifth. Also had a 1-2-3 in the third. It's those even innings that he struggled with a bit. Swung on and lifted down the left field line. A long run towards the line, reaching out and making the catch for the Mustangs.
Anthony Arroyo.
Yeah, nice play by Arroyo as he backhanded it. And that is another 1-2-3 inning. 8 in a row retired for Jason Wiggis. Let's head to the 7th. Fort Morgan 7, Fort Lupton 2 on B106 and B106.com. All right, the Mustangs lead the Blue Devils 7-2. A new pitcher, Andrew Segovia, left-hander, and Brian, hopefully he pitches better and he warms up because a couple have gone to the screen already. We're in the 7th.
It was over the plate, but about 6 feet high.
Yeah, that's the problem. And he's got to face McBride, who's got 2 doubles and 3 runs batted in.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, you tighten up that delivery, you make it easy. McBride to lead off the 7th inning, followed by Cage and Fritzler. With Fort Morgan leading by 5. It was a 2-1 game until the Mustangs tallied 3 in the 5th. Back-to-back doubles by Daniel, Shurtleff, and McBride. All were makeable plays. 2 were misjudged in the outfield, and the other was a fly ball that was lost in the sun. What do you have McBride there, Brian? His first time up looked like he went to a full count. That's a walk then.
Yep.
So he's 2 for 2. Perfect in game 2. The stretch by the left-hander Segovia with the bases empty. And the pitch, swing and a miss. He pulled the string big time on Trey McBride. He thought he was going to throw him a fastball. He threw him a changeup. No balls and 1 strike. The stretch and the offering. Swung on and lifted into deep left center field, into the gap and reaching out, and that ball is going to be up against the bottom of the fence.
McBride falls down going around first.
Yep. Well, he's only got a single as McBride went to the ground. But he gave it a ride there as Cook flagged it back in, and McBride is now 3 for 3.
Dusting himself off over there at first. I don't know if he caught the bag or what happened, but he got about 10 feet out there and he was prone on the ground.
Here's Nate Cage.
Go, Nate.
Cage is 0 for 3, the stretch and the pitch, and he takes a fastball upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Fort Morgan has scored 3 runs in each of the last 2 innings. They've taken a 2-1 deficit into a 7-2 lead. Segovia, the left-hander, looks towards McBride, and the pitch tails away. Throw back to first. McBride back in diving. And it's 2-0. Now Cage looking for something hittable here on a 2-0 count. The stretch by Segovia and the pitch. Right there for a strike, took something off it. Count is at 2-1. The second game has been more of a labor than the first game for the Mustangs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner goes to second. That pitch is away. And McBride to second easily with a stolen base. And it's 3-1. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't turn into one of these innings where if Fort Morgan scores a lot, it's because of walks and things like that. 3-1 to Cage. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. He probably swung at ball 4 in the changeup. He went fishing upstairs. So it's now 3-2 to the junior Nate Cage. The stretch by Segovia. 3-2 pitch in the dirt, and it skips all the way to the screen. McBride to third on the walk in the wild pitch. And Jacob Fritzler will now hit. He walked, singled, and grounded a short. Fritzler at 1 for 2. And now with a chance to extend the Fort Morgan lead, which is at 5 here in inning number 7 on their home field.
Go, Jacob.
The stretch, the left-hander Segovia comes home. Swing and a miss. Again, he's throwing a lot of change-ups. And Fritzler was out in front. It's 0-1. Segovia at the belt and the offering. Low. Ball 1, strike 1 to Jacob Fritzler. Fort Morgan 7, Fort Lupton 2 in the top half of the 7th inning. And Fritzler awaits in the dirt again. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Circle L Irrigation offers the latest in valley irrigation technology. Just give them a call at 970-522-8816. East Chestnut in Sterling.
2-1 pitch up and away. Oh boy. I don't want to see one of these innings. I'm telling you. I want this day to end on a good note. I know Fort Morgan's going to win the game, but let's earn some runs here. Don't start walking them around the park. 3 balls and 1 strike. Segovia looks in, runner goes, and it's outside. Oh, he calls it a strike.
What?
I mean, that thing was inches off the plate. Indifference for Cage. He gets the second. That thing was at least 5 or 6 inches off the plate. 3-2 to Fritzler, the pitch. And that is off the glove of the catcher. And on the pass ball, McBride will score. It's going to be a walk to Fritzler. And the Mustangs lead 8-2. And now to second is Fritzler, and the ball is off the shortstop, Freddie Suarez, and now Cage is going to score on that mess. Well, now 9-2. So Fort Morgan scores on a pass ball and an error. Yeah, I mean, that's not even baseball at this point. Yeah, you want to earn the runs. I mean, you could have 10-year-olds go out there. If they can't throw strikes, you're going to do the same thing. So here we go with Kenny Keller stepping in.
Go, Kenny.
Keller's 0 for 3.
Come on, 5.
Still no outs here in the top of the 7th.
The pitch, swinging a foul to the screen. It's 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. The Mustangs have scored in each of the last 3 innings. 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and 2 so far in the 7th. And they're certainly not done, considering, as Brian said, there are nobody out. Stretch by Segovia. He hasn't thrown 2 consecutive pitches for strikes until now. Lined and off the second baseman. He picks it up, throws to first in time. That was misjudged there by Reed, but he makes the play for the out, and Keller's retired. Holding up at second is Fritzler. It was a soft liner. And the next hitter is Adrian Marquez. And the offering. Swung on, lined, and over the short steps, outstretched glove for a base hit. Suarez went for it, couldn't get it. Around third is Fritzler. He will score. It's an RBI single for Adrian Marquez. The Mustangs have plated 3 runs for the 3rd consecutive inning, and now lead Fort Lupton 10-2 in game 2. There's Grayson Garver. Check that. Is that Holbeck coming
That
up
is
there?
Holbeck, Joe
Yeah.
Holbeck.
Holbeck will step in. Go back to first, back in diving.
Joey Holbeck's batting .333 on the year. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, with 6 at bats.
Pitch is a strike. Runner goes to second. Easy stolen base for Marquez. No balls and 1 strike to Holbeck. Stretch and pitch. Swung on and grounded. Left side. Long throw for Suarez. They won't throw him out. That'll be a base hit. Now to third is Marquez, and that throw is going to sail away down the left field line. Holbeck's going to run to second. He'll be right there. Another run scores, and Fort Morgan off a base hit and an
Good
error
hustle, Austin. Great hit.
now lead by a score of 11-2. No RBI there, but it is a base hit by Joe Holbeck. Here's Anthony Arroyo. Arroyo singled and scored. We'll have a visit to the hill.
That's Brighton back.
Oh, thank you. It's Bryden back. Yeah, now this is Caleb Bell standing in. It'll be Bell.
So Bell is in for Anthony Arroyo.
Yeah. Batting out of the 9 hole. So Fort Morgan's put together their biggest inning.
For 7. Austin Brighton back came in for Arroyo. Yes. Holbeck is on 7. This is
The stretch. And the pitch to Caleb Bell. Swing and a miss on a changeup. It's 0-1.
go, Caleb.
Bell's gotten quite a bit of action recently. He was in the game yesterday when Fort Morgan won 10-0. Swinging a foul at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes.
Must have fouled that off the catcher.
We've had a couple of those already.
Took it off an arm or what he did, but he seems to be okay. He's going to stay in the game. So
He may just hit. I don't know. I'm just giving you a heads up who it is. Bobby Colson?
No balls and 2 strikes to Caleb Bell with 1 down in the 7th. And the pitch. Swinging a foul. That ball was closer to hitting him than it was to the strike zone. Yeah, I mean,
I think he swung at it to protect himself.
Well, yeah, but if you swing and miss and the ball hits you, it's a strike.
Yep.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware of that. Again, we'll see another 0-2 pitch to Caleb Bell. Here it is. Swung on and foul behind the plate.
You battled that there.
We're going to go the distance in this game. Just half an inning to go. Fort Lupton still has to record a couple of outs in this inning. 0-2 still to Bell. Stretch and pitch. Swing and a miss and a ball tailing away. And there's 2 down.
Let's go, Bobby T.
Bobby Tolson in now for Kyle Daniels.
Yeah, Tolson also saw some action against Englewood in Wednesday's game. And the first hit that Fort Lupton got in their first game was the first hit Fort Morgan has allowed in 3 games since they had no hitters against Englewood twice. The pitch in the dirt. Skips away up the third base side. There might be a play at third to throw the tag and safe. Safe as Holbeck. He took off for third on the wild pitch. Fort Morgan does have 3 hits in the inning. But they've also taken advantage of 2 errors. The pitch in the dirt.
White God.
Let's see if Segovia can allow Tolson to hit. You don't want to be up there. I mean, the last thing Tolson wants is to walk. You don't get a lot of at-bats. He wants to go up there swinging. 2-0 pitch, and he's not going to be swinging on that one because it's up and in, 3-0. Yeah, I can tell you. Trust me, I know about riding the bench in high school. You don't want to walk. It's very frustrating. 3-0 in the dirt, and he walks on 4 pitches to make it worse. Yeah, I was a pitcher, and pitchers normally rode the bench unless they could hit. And the unless for me was no. I couldn't hit consistently. All right, Shirtliff has been on base a couple of times. Doubled in his 3rd at bat and scored a run. The stretch and the offering upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Segovia with runners at the corners. Comes home, up and away. He's not following through. He's unleashing the pitch, but his body is stopping. And if you don't go all the way through, the pitches sail high. 2-0. Swung on and fouled at the plate on the off-speed pitch. It's 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike. The Mustangs now lead 11-2 in the top half of the 7th inning with 2 on and 2 out. And the offering in the dirt again. Delayed steal. Throw goes to the second. Runner comes home. Holbeck will score. And it's now 12-2. Oh, too bad Fort Morgan isn't the home team. If not, this game would end right now.
Yep.
5 runs across. Pitch upstairs. Oh, boy. Another walk. 3rd walk issued in the inning. And here's McBride. Brian, I'm telling you right now, he's looking at a pitcher throwing off speed. McBride is thinking one thing. He's looking at that red truck over there. McBride undoubtedly is going to go for it here. I think he's thinking home run. And the pitch in the dirt. If he can time out this off-speed pitch, McBride, who is 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored, can drive in 3 more on 1 swing. He's got 2 homers this year. And the pitch. Off balance, he swings and fouls it down the right field side, and giving chase is the first baseman, Segovia, but he can't get to it. Check that, Adame. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, if he'll give him anything to hit, you got to get it in the strike zone.
The Mustangs with runners at 1st and 2nd. We'll have a quick post-game show now that the game has been extended here in Game 2. With a long top of the 7th inning. Mustangs just need 3 more outs to improve to 6-0 in Colorado's 7 league play, win their 44th consecutive game, and 7-2 overall. 1 ball and 1 strike to Trey McBride. The stretch by Segovia. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Yeah, he tried to time out that changeup.
Come on, Trey.
1-2.
A little bit of BP, huh?
1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, looks easy to hit a guy like this, but no, he's got a good changeup. The problem is his location. He's been unable to spot his pitches. 1-2. Swung on and chopped to third. Easy play to first is going to be right there, and McBride is retired. And the Mustangs are done here in inning number 7, but they score 5 times. Fort Morgan in the inning picks up 3 hits. They capitalize on 2 errors and 2 men left. Let's head to the bottom of the 7th. Jason Wiggis goes for the complete game. Fort Morgan 12, Fort Lupton 2 on B106 and B106.com. Jason Wiggis delivers in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. He has retired 8 in a row. 12-2, Fort Morgan the pitch. Fastball down and away. 2 balls and no strikes to John Howard. And an RBI single in the second when Fort Lupton led 1-0. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back, and the count goes to 2-1.
How about some Papa Murphy's Pizza?
No.
Makes it easy to feed the whole team and make everybody happy. Call Papa Murphy's in Sterling at 522-4900.
Don't do that to me at the end of the broadcast, Brian. That is, man, would that sound good now? I mean, that would sound awesome right here.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch. That drops in for a strike on a breaking ball at the knees. Count is at 2-2 to the 6th place hitter, John Howard, followed by Riley Reed and Patrick Vasquez. Wiggis ready. And the pitch swung on and lifted towards right center field. A long run to his right. Underneath it, the catch is made for the opening out.
It's not McBride anymore. Who is out there?
You got a number out there, Brian?
Jimmy Keller.
Kenny
Thank
Keller?
you. No, Jimmy Keller. That's the sophomore who, yeah, I think that's what I heard. Jimmy Keller. 1 down. Yeah. Who is that kid? Here's the wind and pitch. Swung on. That is popped up in the infield. The second baseman, Holbeck, behind the mound, is going to make the grab, and there's 2 down. And that is 10 in a row retired by Jason Wiggis. Here's Vasquez, who grounded out his second time up. The tall right-hander for Fort Morgan delivers. That is up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch swung on, grounded off of Wiggis to his right. He picks it up, throws to first, and the game is over. And the Fort Morgan Mustangs have won the game by the score of 12-2 as Jason Wiggis retires 11 in a row to end the game. And he allowed just a couple of base hits in this one. He was outstanding. As the Mustang post-game show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. Find out why Morgan Community College is the best choice for higher education. Visit MCC online at morgancc.edu or stop by the campus for a personal advising session. MCC, there to help you imagine your possibilities, believe in yourself, and achieve your goals. Morgan Community College. The Mustangs trailed early 1-0. Tied the game at 1. As Kyle Daniels would score on a Trey McBride double. They trailed 2-1 then. As Fort Lupton tallied a run in the 4th, but then back-to-back doubles in the 5th, including a 2-run double by McBride, made it 3-2. McBride would score, making it 4-2. And then the Mustangs picked up just 1 hit in the 6th inning. One of them was Anthony Arroyo base hit. They tallied 3 more runs and then 5 runs in the 7th inning. As they won the game 12-2, Fort Lupton remains winless on the season. The Mustangs 6-0 in Colorado 7 league play, 7-2 overall, and they have won 44 consecutive games. Mustang Player of the Game brought to you by Mr. DZ's Home Center with 3 locations to serve you better. Sterling, Brush, and Fort Morgan, your headquarters for your home, farm, and ranch supplies. That's home, farm, and ranch supplies from plumbing to feed. Mr. DZ's Home Center. Brian, I'll let you tell us the player of the game. I think it was
Jason Wiggis.
Yeah, I mean,
with the distance.
11 in a row out there. And I tell you what, he could go another 5 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, big kid. Normally big kids get tired quickly, but we've mentioned it multiple times. The mechanics are so fluid, so smooth, so easy that it wasn't a big issue whatsoever for Wiggis to get through this game. Did have struggles there in the 2nd inning and in the 4th inning, but other than that, he was outstanding, retiring 11 in a row as the Mustangs win the game. They're back in action on Wednesday right here against the Elizabeth Cardinals, 4 o'clock on B106 and B106.com. Outstanding job during this doubleheader by our sound engineer and producer, Michaela Klimper. For Brian Nickel, I'm John Beltran. The Mustangs sweep the Fort Lupton Blue Devils in a doubleheader in Game 1, 21-2 in 5 innings, and in 7 innings, 12-2 in Game 2 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com.